Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we are going to be taking a look at who the best Palutena player in the world is, because there is a ton of Palu characters there, one of the most popular characters at a top level, but there is two that are clearly above the rest, and that is Louise and Chegg, though I do want to give mentions to Jigaimo, Jen, Quinn in the A+ tier, Rafflo and Chase in S tier, and then Louise and Chegg are in that S+ tier. I think all these Palutenas can achieve this goal of being like the top Palutena in the world, and I think Rafflo and Chase are the closest. I want to see Rafflo travel more because I honestly think that's it. Like when we saw Glue to go to Mexico, he had a huge level up, and I feel like if Rafflo stayed in like Mexico, Canada, US, Japan, any of those like major regions, just for like a little bit and had a ton of time to practice against different types of top players, he could get a huge level up. Same with Chase if we saw him travel more, though he has been traveling a bit more recently, which is super hype. Chase is absolutely phenomenal, but we have Chegg and Louise. I think they're pretty much undecided the top two. They are absolutely unreal, but who is the best? Because they both had decent seasons, not as good as their 2021 seasons for sure, but they both had a lot of very good tournament runs, a couple amazing wins, and we're just going to go ahead and compare the two of them and see who is the best player for 2022, and we'll start off with Chegg. So, starting off with Chegg, even though I said his 2021 season was better, he has still had an incredible 2022 season. He has a 7th at Collision, a 5th at eCarabina, a 3rd at Colossal, a 7th at Ultimate Wanted 4, and a 7th at Tech Republic 6. He has had a very good season, very strong player, and you'll notice half of these placements are from Europe. He has spent most of his year, at least towards the latter end of it, in Europe, getting really, really good performances there. Though he has had a couple rough runs, which we will get into, he has just had a stellar time over there. Like, he is doing very, very well. And he also has a 2-3 record against Leo, which is really good, but we will come back to this. 0-3 against Spargo, not that bad. 0-1 against Aquila. 0-2 Light. 0-2 Sonics. 1-1 Riddles is pretty big. 0-3 against the Buzz isn't great. 1-0 Meister is really big. 0-3 against Gluto isn't great. Even against Tweak's pretty good. 0-1 against Cosmos isn't great, but it's not terrible. Like 1-0 against Bloom is very good. 1-1 Siski's pretty good. 1-0 Kurama is okay. 1-0 Desmona is okay, and then 1-0 Jackal is okay. So, but either way, I did this by the 1,000 rank. Huge shout out to this thing. It is just, God, it's so cool. I'm gonna use as much as I can because it is just so cool. But what I've done is I've taken, because Luis and Chegg were both ranked on here. I think Chegg is 38th. So what I've done is every player up to 38th place that they have played against, I have taken the head-to-heads there. And there might be like a couple more smaller tournaments included for this, like more local size stuff. But I still do think it merits for like best Palutena of 2022 because it just shows that level of competition. But as you can see, Chegg has very good, and he has a couple of good wins. The Riddles win is really good. The positive record against Meister is really good, and the 2 Leo wins are enormous. But they are under italics because Leo was playing Rob. I don't know if it was at Virtuosity Open or a different Ultimate tournament. I'm going to see if I can find their head-to-head. Oh, I have it already pulled up. No, it was at Ultimate Tropical Arena where he did lose that set, or he won the set in Grands. So it's pretty interesting. I don't know if people want to count it. I'm going to like kind of semi-count it because even though Leo's playing Rob, it's still Leo. Like that Leo Rob took a set off Protobonum at Double Down. Like he's still amazing with that character. Though I think like it doesn't weigh as heavily as like I view his Riddles win as more important just because that is like Riddles full tryhard versus the Leo Rob, and then normally against Leo this season, he did lose at Colossal, and he lost at Delfino Mazda, so he would be down 0-2, but still, I think it is something important to note. But some bad tournaments that Chegg has had have been Double Down, Rising Grind. Battle BC is actually pretty decent, same as King of Fields. Ultimate Summit 4 isn't terrible getting 9th place there, but he did lose to Base Mage, Spargo, and Base Mage again, which the Base Mage losses, they do hurt him a little bit, because even though Base Mage is an incredible player, I feel like I thought he'd have a better season, but then looking at some stuff, he has had some inconsistent tournaments, unfortunately, so that is going to hurt Chegg a little bit for sure. Then a 13th at Genesis is actually pretty good. I think he outplaced Luis here, and he did get a win on Riddles, and 33rd at Pound isn't absolutely amazing. And then as well, towards the end of his season, he does have a 25th at Ultimate Fighting Arena, which hurts a pretty decent amount. 9th at Main Stage is pretty good. Getting a win on MVD and Chase is always nice, as well as Yosefu. Oh, he beat Chase twice, damn. Palu diff. But still, he's had a couple rough tournaments for sure, though like, a lot of good ones as well. 27th at Ludwig's, or 27th rather, at Ludwig's isn't great either, but the losses aren't bad. So, moving on to Luis. Now, Luis, it's kind of the same thing. He has had not a great season compared to his 2021 one, but still a very strong one overall. He has a 7th at Main Stage, a 5th at Lost Tech, a 7th at Riptide, a 7th at Rising Grind, and a 5th at Crown. He has 0-1 against Leo, 0-1 Spargo, 0-1 Light, 1-0 Onin, which is really, really big, 1-1 Shutone, which is also pretty big, 0-1 Debuzz, not great, 0-2 Cola, not great, 0-1 Meister, something to consider in the head-to-head there. 2-3 Zombas, decent. It's not like insane like the Leo head-to-head is, but it is still pretty good because Zamba is amazing. 0-1 DD's not terrible. 1-1 Siski's pretty good. 7-5 Kurama is something we will talk about. 2-1 Apollo Kage is pretty good, and 1-1 Anathema is pretty good. So he has a lot of set wins against a lot of players, but not as many like like winning head-to-heads as Chegg may have, but this 7-5 against Kurama is important to note because I do think a lot of these tournaments are at smaller size locals, maybe a couple regionals as well. But I'm still going to count them if I'm going to count that Leo Rob one. Because the Leo Rob one was like, I think C tier size, B tier size tournament. And if we count 7 Kurama wins and 5 losses, granted, but 7 Kurama wins is a lot. That is a very, very, very big number. As well as Louise having a couple really good tournaments. I feel like he hasn't had as low lows as Chegg has. So he has a 17th at Genesis, where he did get wins on Dark Wizzy and Gak, but Luis, or rather Chegg, did place higher at him there. And then he also has a 5th at Low Tide that we talked about, where he got wins on Zomba Shattuck, which are pretty good. 13th at Momocon's not terrible, did get some pretty good wins there on the way. 7th at Crown is pretty good, beating Atlas, Sticky Base Mage. 25th at Double Down isn't terrible. Like, the loss to Shogun isn't amazing. Same with Rocky, but it's not like the end of the world for him. Probably his worst tournament of the season, though. 7th at Rising Ground's pretty good. Getting his own win there is massive. Like, that's kind of what makes this a discussion, to be honest. And then Riptide getting 7th place there is also very good. Getting a Send win is always nice because Send is an absolutely incredible player. 5th at Lost Tech getting another Dark Wizzy win, another Send win, and a Nico win. Those are all very good players and not bad losses. Back in Blood, he did get 4th at this one. This was a pretty decently sized bundle. I think I saw Back in Blood earlier, though, where he didn't do good, and he also did poorly at Level Up Expo, which are things to consider as well. Ludwig Smash Invitational, he didn't do amazing. Losses to Goblin Skittles aren't honestly the worst. The Skittles one kind of sucks because we all know Skittles is an amazing player, but he's not super high ranked just because he hasn't gone to a bunch of stuff. Kind of the same extent with Goblin. I feel like Goblin should have had a better season just considering how amazing he is, but like he just had a couple tough brackets. But Back in Blood 4th there is pretty decent, and then towards the end he does have Port Priority, which was not amazing. Did get a major win though, and that's a good Ganon player. And then this main stage run is really good, beating Ouch, Shutone, Osimo, Vendetta, Colorado, Justice. Like those are a bunch of absolutely incredible wins. So now that we've gone through everything, let's put them right next to each other. We have Chegg, who has a win on Leo, a win on Meister, a win on Riddles, and he has 2 unranked wins, which we'll talk about in a second. And Luis, who has a win on Onin, wins on Zamba, wins on Chuton, and Apollo Kage. So I got rid of the Crom ones, by the way, because they are all at locals. I'm pretty sure, like, maybe one of them was at a regional, but for the most part, they're all at pretty size, like, small size tournaments, so I don't really want to count that. That feels kind of lame. And the Leo thing, I'm kind of stuck on right now, because it is still a Leo win. You cannot deny that. You cannot take that away. He still beat MK Leo. But the fact that it is under Rob, it just makes it like, I don't know. I really don't know how much to consider that. But I think in the end, even with the Leo win, it doesn't matter to me. Because I still think that Luis is the best pawn in the world. And it's because, of course, that Luis is winning the head-to-head. And that's the only reason. This whole video was just padding for time. It's because Luis has that. I mean, like, come on, let's think about this here. But the real reason, of course, is these losses to Skaz and Illusion. Now, they're both very good players, by the way. I'm not dunking on any of these players. Skaz had like an incredible run where he beat him. I think it was at Ultimate Fighting Arena, which is why he had such an underperformance there. And then Illusion was at Double Down. And even though he did have a pretty good run back there, honestly, like he got like, I think 13th in the bracket. I don't know. I will look for it as we keep talking. It does hurt to lose to unranked players like that. Yeah, Skaz was at Ultimate Fighting Arena. And then we have Illusion at Double Down, where he does end up getting 25th there, which is not honestly great, but I'm pretty sure Luis got either the same thing or worse at Double Down. So it's just like, it's tough to rank that, right? Because he has the highest highs. I think undeniably Chegg has the highest highs of the season, but his lows are so much worse than Luis. Like, undeniably worse. Like, they're bad, just straight up. They got the same place, actually. Look at the 1,000 ranking here, which is just such a helpful website. We have, like, these are all pretty good, but this is bad. And I will say, Luis does have an unranked loss as well, but that is at a local-sized tournament, and that's not going to count that because then I count the 7-5 against Kurama, and then it would still definitely be a Luis. Also, I thought I saw a 9 here. He's 9-2 for Rune. God bless. But these 2 losses here, they really hurt. And again, no disrespect to Illusion and Skaz. They're obviously amazing players because they beat someone who's a top 2 plow in the world and a top 30 player in the world, like maybe top 40, 50, 30 this season, in that range, whatever. But Chegg is amazing, and getting a win on him is very incredible, but it does hurt his ranking a lot, and for that, I'm going to put him above, or under Luis, rather. I do think Luis is the best pawn in the world. If you don't agree, it's absolutely fine, honestly. This is, like, of all the videos we've done, I think I've actually only ever done this on Falcon, but there'll be more. It was not as close as this, just because, like, the Leo win is so important, and I think if it's Leo win normally, then those unranked losses don't matter, but the fact that it is the Rob Leo win, I think it takes it down a little bit for me, considering it's at a C tier, it's not as serious of an event, though it definitely still does matter. Just like those, they sting. The unranked losses sting so bad, and again, at a B tier, at a C tier, I wouldn't really matter as much, because like, he has like a couple other ungreat losses here. Like, he has the loss to Trope, actually, I don't even know when the loss to Trope was. It might have been at Ultimate Fighting Arena as well. No, that was to Night Talks. But he has like a loss to Trope. It's like, not that bad if it's at like a bigger size tournament. ABR, same thing. Like if these losses are at Stocktaker, he lost to at Collision. If these losses are like bigger size tournaments, they matter way more to me in my opinion. Because if you're losing to someone at like a local or like a regional, it feels like it shouldn't count as heavily. At least that's just how I view it. Toad as well. That is definitely Luis's worst loss. I think at a major, maybe the Six Master, because I think he might have lost him at Back and Blood. I'll check really quick. So his losses to Six Master and Super Barrier were both at regional size. Actually, I think Super Barrier was at a local, and then Six Master was at Level Up, I believe. Here, let me check one more time, even though I just did. My memory is going. Yeah, it was at Level Up Arena, so that does hurt a bit. And then the Toad loss at Port Priority also hurts a little just because they are ranked lower. But they are still ranked at the end of the day. This is a 1,000 ranking. And this unranked, it just really hurts. But I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you think Chegg is still higher because of the Leo wins, and he undeniably has higher highs. Also, I forgot to mention, Chegg also has a Bloom win, which is very big. Even though he does have higher highs, I think Louise has had a more consistent season, which feels weird because last season was kind of the opposite. Like Louise would have these crazy tournaments, and Chegg would just be kind of always in that 7th place, 5th place slot. And I do think Chegg was the better Palutena last season, but I think Louise takes it in this 2022 year. Just again, those inconsistent tournaments from Chegg really hurt, but I think Chegg has seen the higher peaks, and I think he can replicate it in 2023. Same thing with Louise as well. I think they have a very, very bright season ahead of them. They both ended pretty strong. Like, main stage was both a great tournament for them. You have Chegg, who had, it was a 7th at Tech Republic, which is also pretty good. Like, even though they had a rough UFA and Port Priority, respectively, these guys are absolutely incredible players, and I can't wait to see them more in the 2023 season. God, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. The support has been absolutely unreal lately, and let me know which character you guys want for this type of video. I don't know which ones I honestly would do. I feel like it's like Kazuya, Snake, and those are like, oh, Ness. Those are like the biggest ones for contention, but if you have a character in mind, please let me know down below. If there's a polo player that I forgot to mention in the honorable mentions, just put them in the DMs, or the DMs, put them in the comments, just give them a shout out. Of course, you want to give highlights to great players, and yeah, thank you guys for everything. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to sub, all that yada yada, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.